Good morning, everybody. So, this is my corner of the world, which is called Ives Corner. This is where I like to come sit down and kind of, put things into logical understanding, right? Because the world is crazy. And so, we all need to have that place where we can find some quiet solitude and kind of make sense of the world. This is my spot, Ives Corner. So, welcome to Ives Corner. I am going to begin a journey um, podcasting. I'm going to try to provide to you a game plan to better your lives, right? Either 5x, 10x, 100x. That's going to be up to you. I'm going to share with you the formulas that I've learned from my mentors, the things I've learned through my own experiences. I'm going to share my journey with you, my wins, my setbacks, right? I don't really like to call them losses because I've learned to accept that setbacks are just a way to gain experience, which is a win, right? Um, there is so much we're going to talk about. I'm going to have a podcast. It's called Pill Call. Come get your medicine so that we can have deep conversations, or I'll share with you like my deep thoughts. But on my YouTube channel, I'm going to try to just kind of coach and mentor you and give you guys tools to work with. I think that on YouTube, that platform will work better because I'm able to share my whiteboard or draw and sketch out stuff that you guys can see visually, which I think I'm a visual learner. So I think that's very important for most people. Um, I don't know if I'm going to keep the rocking chair. I like the rocking chair. I am a motion kind of guy. I learned from Anthony Robbins that motion creates emotion, and emotion are your feelings. And I know that humans only do what they feel. Feelings, if you could learn to control your feelings or manipulate your feelings, or feel the feels genuinely, whichever it is, man, you can control your destiny for as much as possible, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm spiritual, and I know that God has a plan for us, and I know that that plan is to be successful and um, live a life that's pleasing to Him by serving humanity according to His will. Having said that, I know that feelings are everything. It all boils down to feelings, right? Does anyone want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning? But some of us do when we feel excited, right? If we all know that tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. we're catching a flight to go on a Disney cruise, we're taking all the kids, it's all paid for. It will not be hard for you to get up at 5 in the morning, even if you go to bed at midnight, even if you're tired. You will get up. Why? Because you feel excited. Doesn't matter. You could be well rested and the alarm goes off at 11. And if you don't feel like getting out of bed, you're not going to be motivated to get out of bed. It's going to be a drag. So as long as you understand that, you kind of get the concept. I'm going to work on providing amazing content, keeping it 100 with you guys always. I'm going to work on my promise to you is that you guys, if you follow me, if you are part of this community, I'm going to work every day to be better and better and better. Better than yesterday, right? That's the secret. All I got to do is be better than yesterday. I don't have to be better than anyone else. I don't have to be the best according to anyone else's opinions. I just got to be the best I can be. And if I get better each and every day, I will get there. So I promise you that I will do that. I promise you that I'm going to learn and study and try to make life better for the both of us. Some of you out there will hear what I say and it'll change your life over time. And some of you guys out there will hear what I say, it's going to change your life today. And there's be some people out there, I would assume, I don't understand why, but I would assume that won't agree with my opinions or my thoughts, which is fine. You don't have to agree with everything I say. And I welcome the comments. I welcome the disagreements, right? I'll even welcome the hate because I understand that, the more successful I am, the more haters probably will be out there to chime in, but that's okay. Um, I know that it's all part of it and I want it. I accept it. I'm excited for it. So I have anticipation for that. Having said that, I've got to work on, obviously, a couple of things. I promise to make the videos better and better, the content better and better each and every day. But I will always be 100% honest with you. So, like I said, I have my YouTube channel, which is Ives Corner. I will be launching my podcast. I'm going to do 2 episodes a week, I believe. I think that's the sweet spot. 2 episodes a week. I'm debating with my team whether I should have it come out every Monday and every Friday or every Tuesday and every Thursday. We're gonna figure that out. But I'm gonna think I do 2 a week. That way you get one. I want to do one to start your week, and I want to do one to kick off your weekend. Right? We'll recharge from the weekend and start your week. Kick off the weekend. Um, so that's the goal, and I promise to be consistent and just to be with you always here. I also ask that you subscribe, like, um, feel free to email me. My email is ivan.a.mejia@gmail.com. Or obviously, if you follow me on social media, my Instagram is I've Got a Purpose. That's IVEGOTTAPURPOSE. I've Got a Purpose. It's a play on my name, Ivan. People call me Ive, in case you didn't figure that out. Just like Ives Corner. And then the reason for my podcast being called Pill Call is because I wanted to, and I'll share this with you guys someday. A lot of people don't realize, and it may be hard for you to believe, but I was locked up one time. I ended up in prison, but I'll share that story and how it happened. It was over a drug charge, possession. So, um, nothing major. I don't want you to think crazy of me, but it happened. I was in my 20s and, you know, doing all the wrong things for all the right reasons, um, or is what I thought. But it was one of the best experiences of my life. It made me the man I am today. I can honestly tell you that if I could go back and change things, would I? No, I don't think so. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It taught me so much about life and about myself. And I will definitely share that story and how that all happened and what went down on one of these episodes. But having said that, having been locked up, a couple of things happen throughout the day. You have mail call, you have rec call to go outside, go get some fresh air. Mail call, obviously, when letters come in and mail comes in, exciting times. One of the times throughout the day is called pill call, and I used to watch uh, as the deputies would yell pill call, how all the people that were normally the quiet ones in the corner, miserable, not happy, right? These aren't the people that are working out and and out there boxing and playing sports and outside in the sun walking around, and the people that stayed in the shadows and stayed inside the facility and weren't very motivated and just felt like you know weren't excited to be living life. When pill call came around, they got excited. They were paying attention. They went to go get their medication. That was their happiest part of the day. So I want to reach out to the people out there. My podcast, I'll be my audience. I want to help the people that aren't where they want to be, aren't as happy as they should be. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they're miserable. Maybe they're happy, but they want to be happier, right? Maybe they just need you know, a red pill, a blue pill, a green pill. Who knows? But they definitely need pill call. Anyone that's obviously, if you're successful and stuff, great. I'd love to have you as an audience too. But pill call specifically will be me trying to help those that want help, feel like they need help to level up. That's who my audience is, and that's who I'm going to be speaking to and trying to help the people who want to be happier in life and don't seem to know how to figure that out. I'm going to help you by giving you step by step instructions on how to change your life, how to change your life through attitude. Because that's really how it is. It's just that simple. And once you accept that, you'll be well on your way. So I'm excited. I wanted to share that with you. Um, a little bit about me, just so you know. I am extremely spiritual, God first in my life. I think that all my life I wasn't spiritual. I remember growing up in the Catholic Church and hated going. Uh, I didn't believe in God. I believed that the higher power existed, but I believed that we controlled our lives by our choices. That's how I grew up. That's what I thought. Obviously, things happened in my life, maturity and miracles have been performed in my life that I have to and want to give credit to God for. Um, I believe in God. I don't preach God to everybody. I'm not going to try to convince you to believe in God. That's not my job. Um, that's not my calling. Um, I'm not a pastor. I, just as confused as the next person when I read the Bible sometimes. Things are, as I read it more and more, things are making more and more sense, right? I definitely have grown in knowledge and wisdom of God's word. And that's because I keep reading it. I go back, I listen to pastors and mentors. You know, I attend church. And so I've learned and grown a lot. But the reason I brought that up is, I want you to know where I come from. Now, if you don't believe in God or you believe in a different God or you believe in whatever that's fine with me. I have no problem with it. I'm still here to help you. Um, we're going to talk about life and business and relationships and children and family on my YouTube channel, definitely, and on my podcast channel. Um, I take that back. I'm going to talk about all that on my podcast. My YouTube channel, I'm going to try to make it an educational time, right? Take value. I value your time. This is valuable. Your time is valuable. My time is valuable. I'm going to discuss um, things that will help you, right? That's my YouTube. My podcast will be more of a feeling life, understanding your place in it. I'll figure it all out, right? Right now, I've got a million ideas. And we're going to figure it out along the way together. This is my first time ever podcasting. This is the first time I've ever started creating content with intention on YouTube. I've had my YouTube channel. I've got to check probably 7, 8 years now, and I think I've made like 2 videos, or I had 2 videos I just randomly threw up there. But I'm gonna intentionally grow it. Um, we're going to grow together. We're going to enjoy the rest of this journey together that I have, the rest of my time that I have here with you guys and with my family. I'm going to do everything humanly possible to enjoy it and to share it with you, hoping to inspire and motivate you to live your best life. I believe this is my calling. I remember as a child, I remember I would always do good in school. I had good grades, but under the comments, it was always Ivan's getting great grades. Ivan's extremely smart, but Ivan is so well behind. Ivan is a great kid, but he talks a lot. He talks too much. He's got an opinion about everything. Um, and I remember my parents and everyone treating that as if it were a curse when I knew that it was my gift. And I'm grateful to God that I never let anyone convince me other than that. Talking has always been my gift, um, which is probably why I was such a big flirt growing up. I love flirting. I loved it. I loved um, women, definitely. Um, I love homeboys. I love friends. I am a social butterfly person, right? Like my son, for example. He's amazing. He's wonderful, and you'll get to meet him someday. I'll interview him on my podcast and for YouTube actually. But well, I'm gonna record and upload all my podcasts anyway to video, so I guess that's redundant. But anyway, Joshua, he loves like he loves solitude, right? Great guy, outgoing. He's in the military now. He's in the U.S. Navy. I'm so proud of him for that. I'm so blessed and honored to have raised such a man. But he likes solitude. Don't get me wrong. He'll enjoy going hiking with a friend or 2 friends, or you know, being around a group of people from time to time, but his comfort zone is solitude. Like he loves going hiking by himself. I don't. I don't like doing anything by myself. I almost feel like I want to start having. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm out there talking to you, that I'm here talking to you guys out there, I probably wouldn't YouTube. I just love being around people, almost to the point where I'm thinking of getting chairs and having an audience every time I record an episode, even if it's 3, 4, 5, 10 people. I just feel better when I'm talking to someone that's next to me, right? Definitely reason why I'll have guests. I'll have guest hosts from time to time. I'll interview people from time to time. Um, this is not my comfort zone, which is why I'm doing it, right? If I'm going to preach getting out of your comfort zone, right, it starts by doing, leading by example. So this is definitely not my comfort zone. I would much rather be talking to someone that's here or a group of people. I enjoy being on stage. I am more comfortable on stage with the crowd than I am by myself with a camera and a microphone. But I want to grow and I want to encourage you guys. I know for a fact that growing means getting out of your comfort zone. I know for a fact that the reason I'm not where I want to be as of yet is because I've always for the most part, I stay in my comfort zone. Luckily, I've been able to get out of my comfort zone um, because of all my mentors and the things I've done in life. I've gone skydiving. Right, you got to get out of your comfort zone and go skydiving. I've um, I've had so many different relationships, romantic relationships, and that's not easy, right? You got to get out of your comfort zone to talk to a beautiful girl. Um, and all my relationships have been with beautiful women. They're beautiful to me, whether physically, mentally, emotionally. I've had a couple crazies here and there, but anyway, but that's me. So that's a little bit about me. I was born and raised in New York. Um, I am definitely Generation X, one of the first of Generation X. Grew up in the 70s as a child. Um, 80s were my teenage years. 90s were my young adult years. And I love this generation. And so, anyway, I was born and raised in Manhattan, in New York. I was born in Manhattan, but I grew up in Queens. Then I remember when I was about to hit junior high, my parents wanted to leave New York. Well, by then we all lived. I remember we all lived there. My cousins, my aunts, my uncles. We all lived in Queens, like in a neighborhood in Queens. I think I had one or two aunts in the Bronx, and maybe my grandmother in Brooklyn. I had maybe another aunt in Brooklyn, but most of us lived in Queens. And then slowly but surely, people started moving away. I remember one aunt, a group of my aunts and my cousins one day were like, we're moving to California. And then I had another aunt who decided to go to Texas. And then I had my dad's side decided to go down to, they were living in New York. My dad's side, my mom's side. My dad's side decided we're going to, most of my dad's side went down to Florida. Some stayed in New York. Most of my mom's side went down to California, to LA specifically. A couple went here and there. One aunt went to Texas, but eventually we were there by ourselves. I was getting ready to, I just graduated sixth grade, getting ready to start junior high, and my parents said, we're moving to California. Um, I think it was for multiple reasons. Personally, I think that they thought New York was going through a lot of craziness back then, the early 80s, right? 80, 81, 82. A lot of heroin, a lot of crack was hitting the streets. Cocaine was everywhere. 70s disco, right? Studio 54. I grew up around all that. Harlem. Um, so I remember a lot of drug addiction, a lot of partying. I also know that um, they didn't want to raise me. I think part of it was they didn't want me to fall into the wrong tribes, gangs, cultures. They also wanted a new breath of fresh air, right? It seemed like New York was overcrowded and things were going good for the other family members that had left, new opportunities, new lifestyle. And so anyway, long story short, they tell me we're moving to California and I was actually excited because what I knew about California was that it was always sunny. There was beaches everywhere, coconut trees, movie stars, beautiful women walking around in bikinis. Um, it was just perfect. And so I was excited to go. I remember that we packed up the car, we got a U-Haul truck, and we decided, my mom and I, we left with friends of ours, Hector and Sylvia. No, no, no. I take that back. Benito and Dominga, friends of the family, and their two kids, Liz and Chris. Shout out to Liz and Chris and Benito and Dominga out there. If you guys are watching, love you guys, miss you guys. Um, But anyway, we decided as a group, so it was a couple cars and a U-Haul truck. Anyway, we hit the road. We're gonna drive to California. We leave New York. I remember it was exciting. Um, it took us about 6 days to cross the United States to get to California, but we stopped everywhere. I remember we took Highway 80, and I remember those long days of miles and miles of pastures and stinky cows to like Montana or Wyoming. I don't know. I don't. I remember a kid, but the miles and miles. But it was fun. We would stop everywhere. I remember stopping different places, sightseeing. It was exciting for me. And we get to California, and I look around, and I'm like, "Where's all the movie stars? Where's all the beaches? It's cold and rainy and this was like we got here like December, like in the middle of December, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it was late, right before the Super Bowl, and I'll tell you why. That's another reason. That's another funny story in itself. But we get here, it's like December. Back then in the 80s, it used to rain in California all the time. Um, I remember getting here and looking around and thinking, it's cold, it's wet. I don't see any beaches. I don't see any movie stars. No palm trees. What? Where are we? And my father said, "We're in Vallejo, California." And I was like, "Vallejo? How far are we from LA?" And they're like, "Oh, about six hours." I'm like, 6 hours uh, walking? And they were like, "No, driving." I was like, 6 hours driving? I thought we were moving to LA. So they were like, "No, we're in Vallejo." I looked around and I was like, "Man, this ain't what I pictured." We could have stayed in New York. Vallejo was grimy. Like I said, the weather was cloudy and rainy. Felt like we were in Seattle weather, and it was just grimy. You guys know Vallejo. If you know Vallejo, back then it was grimy. Crack was hitting the streets, and we lived over by a part of Vallejo called the Crest Side, um, which was the hood back then. Definitely the hood, like Harlem. And so I just remember that this was such a big letdown. I was so disappointed, and and the reason why I know it was December is because I remember that we went to. So we got here. We were staying with some friends, and they said that they were watching. It was Sunday, and we were going to watch the playoffs, football playoffs. And as a kid back then, I was a big, New York. I was New York everything. I love the Yankees. I love the Giants, the New York Football Giants, the New York Yankees. I was all about the Knicks. I mean, that's all we knew was New York, right? We hated Dallas. I remember that was our rival back then was Dallas, and in baseball it was the Dodgers, right? But I remember my dad was like, "Hey, today, we were still looking for an apartment and stuff, so we were still fresh here, but today we're gonna go watch the playoffs at my friend's house. Anywhere they're barbecuing." So we went, and I remember asking them, who's playing, like past 2 weeks, I had been on this mission from New York to California road trip journey, 6 days on the road, and then we got here, and it was a whirlwind and the disappointment. Anyway, 2 weeks had gone by. I didn't know who was in the playoffs. I didn't know who was playing, but I wanted to watch the playoffs. And I remember they said it's the Niners against the Cowboys to see who goes to the Super Bowl. And immediately I remember vividly two things popped into my head. Number one, the most important thing was I hate the Cowboys. We hate the Cowboys. I hope they lose. Whoever they're playing against, I hope they lose. And I'm going to root for whoever they're playing against. And the second thing that popped into my head were, what's a 49er? Who in the hell is San Francisco 49ers? I hadn't heard of them. We didn't know who the Niners was. We didn't on the East Coast, we didn't know who the Niners was, and I guess back then they hadn't been relevant at all. I remember thinking I had no thought about who the Niners were. I didn't know who the Niners were. But I did know that today I'm in a root for the Niners. Because I hate Dallas. We hate Dallas. Everybody hates Dallas. Not America's team. Ha! So that was my introduction. And that day, as some of you guys may remember, that was the game where it ended on the catch. The touchdown from Joe Montana to Dwight Clark to beat the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. And that was like the most exciting thing I had ever experienced in my life. I thought the Yankees winning the World Series was exciting. I thought, man, the Niners beating the Cowboys on the last play, the the catch, Dwight Clark, and that made an impression on me. And from that moment, not only that they eliminate my what I thought were my arch enemies, because they're really not. These football players are. We shouldn't even care about football that much. But anyway, that's the culture we live in. Anyway, I not only did they beat the Cowboys, but they became my heroes that day. They became my favorite team that day. And I figured since I'm in California, might as well root for the Niners, right? And I happen to like red and gold. Um, but from that day forward, I was a 49er fan for life. And they went on to win 5 Super Bowls over the next 10, 12 years. And I rode this wave of just awesomeness and bragging rights and Hall of Famers and Super Bowls and Jerry Rice's and Joe Montana's and Steve Young's and Roger Craig's and Rathman and man, just the Niners were the team at that time, and I just fell in love. And anyway, that's how that happened. So here I am in Vallejo. I digress. I'm in Vallejo, and I'm like, man, this is. We could have stayed in New York for all this, but I'm so grateful for all of it. And I'll share my experiences. That's how it all happened. That's how I ended up in California. I've been here ever since. I've built a career. I've been blessed with family. My family has grown. I have 3 beautiful children, Janessa, Joshua, and Nayeli. I have them all tatted right here. Joshua, I'm sorry, Janessa, my firstborn, Joshua, and Nayeli, my 2 girls, my son. I have my daughter has her daughter, Giselle, who's my beautiful granddaughter. I love her. She's my only granddaughter. She's my first granddaughter. So she's the most special. Um, I'm blessed to still have my mother in my life. My dad's no longer in my life. We'll talk about that. Um, my grandmother. I didn't have brothers and sisters, so I had a very small family, other than my cousins and all that, which we'll get into. But my grandmother is no longer with us. She was key in my life. Um, now I found out I have a half sister through my dad after he had left my mom, went and had a daughter. Her name is Maria. Maria Teresa, who I love. She's amazing. She's the best sister in the world to me. And obviously, um, we found each other and we've developed a relationship and a bond. She's gone on to get married and have children, and I'm just so blessed to have her. And I'll explain. We'll talk about that situation. But pretty much just wanted to give you a little bit of history about me. I've been a hustler all my life. I've been in sales. I've had an entrepreneur heart since I was a child. Hence, I ended up in prison selling drugs. Um, I've been in sales my whole life. I believe that sales are life skills. I think that everybody needs to have sales skills. I think that life, your best life, depends on your skills at sales. Um, sales is everything is sales, right? I mean, everything is sales. When you and your wife discuss where you're going to go eat, I'm trying to sell you on my idea, you're trying to sell me on yours. When you meet someone for the first time, you're trying to sell yourself, they're trying to sell themselves. When you apply for a job, you're trying to sell yourself to the company. When companies are recruiting, when teams are recruiting, they're trying to sell themselves on why you should be with them. Everything is sales. Everything in life is sales. When even when you're just with your children, whether they should do this or shouldn't do that, you're trying to convince them, trying to sell them on the idea of why it's better to behave than to misbehave, or better not to do drugs than to do drugs, right? Just that's what my belief is, and I've seen that. When I sit in my logical corner, I understand that, and I'm okay with that. I'm not against sales, right? We're against salespeople that are pushy. We're against people that try to sell us stuff we don't need. We're against people that try to sell us stuff we don't want, right? We're against people that try to, you know, uh, lie to us. That's what we're against. But if someone brings me something of value, right? If someone helps me to make a decision, man, I'm grateful for that person. We love that person, right? Um, or we show them favor for sure. Um, and so I think that I've always been blessed in knowing that. I've always been a math guy, a numbers guy. The things that I had to do as a child, which I hated. My dad was a disciplinarian, so he would make me read. He would make me, learn algebra. I remember learning algebra in like fourth grade, fifth grade. My dad would, teach me to play chess and force me to play. I had to play a game of chess before I could turn on the TV and watch cartoons, right? If I wanted to go outside and play, I had to, beat my dad at a game of chess, or at least try, and he could tell if I tried or didn't try. Um, or if I wanted something like a bike, right? My dad said, "Well, you had to earn it," and for my dad, earning it wasn't labor and chores. Like cleaning my room and washing dishes and vacuuming, that was just what I had to do. We didn't call it chores. We didn't call it, there was no reward to it. That was just what I had to do. That was part of life. That was part of the give and take of them providing a home and feeding me and taking care of me. So that was just normal. But if I wanted something extra, I had to earn it. And for my dad, it was earning it academically through academics. Either read a book and write a report, or read out loud for 20 hours. So, what I would say, let's say I wanted to get a new bicycle. My dad would say, well, that's going to cost you 40 hours. 40 hours of reading out loud in Spanish. So, find a book, and if you read an hour a day, you'll have it within a month. If you read 2 hours a day, you'll have it within 20 days. And at the time, I remember thinking, this is crazy. Man, what kind of sadistic? All I want's a bicycle, man. You want to make me read 40 hours in Spanish? The hell? I didn't understand. But now when I look back on it, I'm extremely grateful. Now, I don't handle my children that way. I think it was a bit excessive, but if I'm going to be honest with you, as I promised I would always be honest with you, I am grateful for that. It made me who I am. Definitely made me feel confident and intelligent in school. I was always that kid in school who raised his hand for everything. Anyone besides Ivan want to raise their hand today? Because I love to talk. I love being smart. I love showing out. And I just didn't want there to be that awkward silence. And I was trying to save everyone, right? I know they don't know the answer. They don't want to get picked on. Pick me. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. But so that was me. So that brought me to where I'm at today. And then things happened that eventually I was able to develop a relationship with God. Just want to give you kind of a little taste of who Ivan is. Thank you so much. Um, I appreciate. Please like, please subscribe to my channel. Come on this journey with me. I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for liking. I thank you for watching. I thank you for being you. I thank you for being a part of this with me. Let's build a community together. Let's be friends. Let me go on this journey with you. I want you guys to comment, to like. I want you guys to tell me what things are on your mind, what you want to discuss, what things you've always found to hold you back, or just share with me so that I can talk about it, right? Anytime I use anyone's questions or comments, I'll definitely shout you out. I believe in you. I just don't want to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And at the moment, I probably do, which is fine. But I want to change that. Let's go on this journey together. Let's make this exciting. My goal is to get to 1 million followers as quickly as possible. I don't know how quickly that is, but what I do know is that I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to do my best to inspire you, to motivate you, to provide value to you, to be here for you, to talk about the things that matter to you. Um, and the only way I'll know that is if you guys comment, if you guys DM me, if you guys email me. Remember um, to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms. Stay tuned for my podcast. I'm excited about the future. I hope you're excited to go on this journey with me. Let's change our lives. Let's live our best life. A year from now, a year from today, um, not only will this channel have over 1 million subscribers and followers across my social media platforms, TikTok, everything, but I'm hoping that both of us are in a far, far better situation that we could have ever imagined or hoped for, so that it inspires us to keep going. This is the only life we have. This is it. This is our one chance to have everything you've ever wanted. You know, let's not let it slip away. Let's not, find ourselves at the end of this journey with regret. If everyone else can do it, we can do it. You can do it. I can do it. And if we work together, we will be unstoppable. Till my next episode, till my next YouTube video, till the next time I see you guys, take care, stay blessed, keep your head up. Love you.